during last week's violence, but didn't really make it into the headlines. So what needs to be done in the area to take control of the problems behind the trouble? Let's go live to Woolwich now. We can speak to local activist Danny Mercer. Danny, thanks very much indeed for joining us. You know, is there anything you've heard coming out of Westminster, coming from the police, coming from the MPs in your neighbourhood and beyond, that does anything to help you think that people understand the world that you live in?
I don't think anybody in Westminster really does understand the world outside of Westminster. It's the residents that live in these areas know what goes on, where the problems are and how to tackle them. And I think that the government needs to work with the communities more and more to try and solve the problems.
How do you think they could do that, Danny? I mean, the Prime Minister, I'm sure, would be happy to jump into a car and make a 20-minute visit to the area, but I think probably what you'd be looking for is something a little more involved than that.
Yeah, well, it would be nice to see the bigwigs, as they're called, you know, down in the areas that have all the problems. But I think, you know, the government should stop cuts on community projects and stop the cuts on policing. And instead of trying to cut one thing to try and fix another, work them together in one big ball. Make the police work with the communities better, instead of turning the police on the communities. I think the police are always out to make the people that make the areas bad. They're always after them in the wrong way, and they're doing the wrong things, and that's what's turning people on the police, and that's why the rioting happened.
The police are always telling us that they understand the communities that they police, that they work with the local communities, that they have domestic programs, that they have violence against women programs, that they're very much involved in the communities. Is that not your experience?
Yeah, that is the experience down here in South East London and probably all over Britain. But I mean, the police ain't always with the community. I mean, you can't even walk to the bus stop just behind the camera over there without getting a metal detector run down your body in case you're carrying a knife. Now, I do understand knife crime in Britain is a problem, but running a metal detector down an innocent person that's on their way home from work or on their way back from shopping with small children, it scares people. It's a scaremonger tactics, and it's not the right tactics to use with the public.
Jenny, when you talked about community programs, what sort of things are you talking about? Youth centres, playing fields? What kind of programs would you like to see? And indeed, if you did see them, what difference do you think they'd make?
Well, I know from first hand that community projects do make a big difference. When I was 17 years old, I used to go to a community project called Thamesmead Youth Awareness Programme, just down the road here, and they do studio and music engineering. They teach people how to use studio software. They let you write lyrics. They do lyric writing lessons. They let you make your own tracks. It's a good way of getting anger and frustration out and make a positive of all the feelings that you've got inside you. And the funding for that got cut years ago, and the building got closed down, and the teens ended up on the streets. And I think stopping cuts on those projects and bringing more of those projects out, you know, more public football events, more fun days on greens, more, you know, stuff like that. It would help. It brings the community together. I mean, I started this wall on Saturday, and the eerie silence running across Woolwich after the riots. Nobody was talking to anybody. We started the wall, the community started coming back together in this little area of pavement, and everyone started talking to everyone, and it works. And it just goes to show me, I'm just a resident of South East London. I'm no one special, and I brought Woolwich back together. Now, if I can do that, I'm pretty sure the government can make time and make money to do that with professionals, workers that can work with the community.
Danny, I get the impression I'm still seeing people behind you there writing on that wall you've got there. I'm getting the impression that a lot of people have a lot they want to say.
They do have a lot they want to say. I mean, there's a 74-year-old man that wrote on there on Saturday, a 3-year-old child that drew round their hands down the bottom of the wall. It's all ages, all colours, all creeds, all religions. Everybody's here, and they've all got something to say. Some good, some bad, some are angry, some are upset. But this wall is basically their way of getting it out and sharing it with the community, and it shows the community that everyone is feeling the same thing. And that's complete outrage with these looters, complete outrage with the rioters, and, you know, they're not happy about it.
Danny Mercer, thanks very much indeed for talking to us today on Sky News. Good luck with your wall.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Syrian forces